Do you realise how much effort it takes for Netflix to get the amount of members and subscriptions?
I do not know this. Go on. It's that human connection bit because technology is ramping up so much.
Or maybe just bring a bit of a community element in, which is a really nice way of building loyalty and a community and a place where people just want to hang out for longer. Buy this thing!
Buy this thing!
What do we mean?
What do we mean? We mean buy this thing as I basically don't want to have to do a fat lot and somebody can just go on my website and buy this thing without me having to talk to them or do anything.
Okay, let's put yourself in the position of being a consumer. Would you just buy this thing without knowing much about it or how it's going to help?
It's a hard one to answer because I feel like there's context around it.
Yes, there would be context around it. But let's imagine you have stumbled across someone that you don't know a fat lot about. You've got a dog with a problem and you can buy a thing that's going to solve the problem.
I'm going to look at this on the reverse flip. Reverse flip? I'm going to go it. Because I think there is a lot of belief out there that if something is low enough ticket, i.e. dirt cheap, then somebody could stumble across one's website and go, oh, I need that thing to help me with my dog in this scenario. And because it's only
20 quid,
what have I got to lose? Buy my thing. Thing is bought. However, what isn't normally paired with that, I would say, is when you think something is that easy to sell, because you may have seen other business owners do it and other companies do it through various products and services, not just in the dog industry, we're not factoring in that they have potentially been going for a lot longer. We're not factoring in that potentially they are a much bigger business. We're not factoring in how much content they're pumping out. We're not factoring in how big an email list they've got. We're not factoring in how much budget they've got to spend on ads.
Do you realise how much effort it takes for Netflix to get the amount of members and subscriptions?
I do not know this. Go on. I imagine a lot, but
I don't know the exact stats, but all I know is that they have to do a fuck ton of work to get the people in. And the amount that it costs them to produce, because look at what they have to do. They have to get all the shows that are the ones that people actually want to pay for. Because what is it, like $8.99, $9.99 a month for Netflix for the basic one?
Something around that.
And each time it goes up, there's backlash. There's people going, it's gone up again. It's another £1 that I'm paying. For what? Because they're looking at it like nothing's changed. I'm still getting access to these programs. Whereas actually in Netflix world, they've got to keep sourcing these programs and, you know, outlaying all these costs for advertising and, you know, making sure they land these programs as an exclusivity to Netflix and possibly nobody else has got them. And it's a lot of work to do. Now, Netflix is a really established brand. It's one that I don't think people have, like, not many people have ever heard of, never heard of even. And they need so many people to make that a viable business. And they're going to have a high churn rate like most memberships have. You're going to get people come in, come out. People are going to stay for long periods of time, but then you're going to get people who don't. And there's a lot there that goes into it. So when people try and copy a model like a Netflix subscription model, which I do feel like a lot of dog trainers try and adopt in a loose term, if that makes sense. It's a low cost membership. We just need some people coming in. And I think it's this thought process a lot of the time. If they're in, they'll stay. And that's a really hard thing to get people to stay, isn't it? We know this. We've done it. And the content you could have in there is really good. It's really high quality. It's really valuable. But if those people don't feel like it is valuable, like that's your opinion of it, but if they don't feel like it's valuable or they don't know how to navigate around it, for example, or maybe there's too much information and they don't know where to start, it's a really hard thing to get right.
It's a really difficult thing to get right, because even just touching on that last point that you said, it's our mindset when you're running a membership that the more you put in there, the more valuable it is. However, in some cases, it could be too much. So people are then leaving because they can't physically keep on top of all the information that's going in there. It's like, oh God, I haven't even got round to doing that thing yet. And now there's another new thing. And now I'm behind and now I can't catch up. So I'm just going to bow out.
Yeah.
And I suppose it depends on how you're running the membership. But essentially, yeah, that online space, it's so difficult to retain people.
But look at the ad spend that Netflix are going to have. They're everywhere.
Yep.
Billboards everywhere, TV, adverts, they're everywhere. Are you going to put that kind of budget in if you're growing a membership? I'm guessing not.
And actually, I think this, again, kind of comes down to what we talk about a lot. It's like, have that one core service. Like, if you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah, go all in and spend the money on the ads, invest in it to get the return.
Be everywhere.
But it's not something that's going to be a one and done. You advertise it a couple of times and people just keep coming in. It's not going to be that easy.
And I think it's a shame, really, because I know it's not just the dog industry, but it does seem to have this perception, doesn't it, that online training is as simple as create a course, stick it on a platform like Thinkific or Kajabi or there's various other ones. Zenla's one that's out and about now. Stick it on there, stick it on your website and say like, here's a course, buy my thing. And then, et voila, you're making money whilst you sleep.
Yeah, if only.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And I think this is the harsh reality, because if it really were that simple, why is everybody not raking it in?
And how many people start something like that and then end up shelving it? Or it's sat there, but you actually ask them, how much money are you actually making from that thing? And it could be $4.99, it could be $2.99, it could be 99p. And I don't think it'll make any difference. If that thing is just sat there, nothing goes into it, if you're not looking at what's actually in it and how is it helping and how am I getting it out to the world and how does it weave into my story and how is it an integral part of the business, it doesn't matter if it's 99p or £999, it's still not going to sell.
Yep. We do have this mindset again, I suppose, don't we, that if it's a lower price point, then it'll sell.
Yeah, I used to think like this and it really isn't the case at all.
No.
We actually find it's harder to sell lower price things than higher price things.
It's so difficult.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, really, really difficult. So I suppose if you are wanting to create something in the online space, because the online space is an amazing space to have something, and we love exploring what's available in the online space. Canine Business Academy is predominantly an online business. I say predominantly.
It is. Yeah.
They're
bar the conference.
Oh yeah, at Earl event. But no, the CBA is purely online. The dog training business was not. The dog training business was very much a local, in-person, rocking and rolling business. There were elements of online during COVID, as I think most of us ended up going that way anyway.
There was an online element to the programme actually, because we used to have Zoom check-ins.
Oh yes, I forget this.
Yeah.
But there's different ways of creating an online thing for somebody to buy if you are a dog trainer. One of which is, I know quite a few dog trainers actually who are doing really well in the online space just by switching their sessions to Zoom calls instead. So they're not going out and seeing the dog. They are doing what you would do in real life, just virtually.
Yep.
People struggle with this though, I think.
People do struggle with it. And I get it from both sides. But I also think now people are so busy. we're busy, which is why we want to enter the online space a lot of the time, isn't it? Because we're like, how can we do things more efficiently? How can we, it might be that thought process of let's stick a membership on and hope it sells overnight when we're in bed. But it actually just could be like, how can we utilize this space better when we're busy? That's great for you, but also it's great for the people because they might not have the time, headspace, you know, all those things. It might just work better for them being on Zoom. And it might be that they're sneaking it in work and they can just hop on a Zoom really quickly. But actually, it would be harder if they were going out with you in person, for example. So there are definitely benefits to doing it on Zoom. But I also get the kind of pushback around it as well, because you haven't physically seen the dog and you haven't seen the dynamic possibly. But I guess it's the way you set it up, isn't it? Because you could actually, I think you could absolutely get a feel for those things if you structured it well online as well.
Yeah. I did a period of just only doing online consults with people. It was during COVID. But people were still buying my programs. I just switched it to online.
And you can do a hybrid version as well. So you could do a mixture. So if you, again, wanted to save on time and mileage and all that kind of stuff, some of these things, you're just going over the same things, aren't you? It's more accountability. It's more checking in. It's that kind of stuff a lot of the time. So I think those kind of sessions, definitely, even if you're that sort of person that goes, oh, I do still want to see the dog, you know, you could do maybe a hybrid version as well. So there are lots of options with it.
Yeah. And I think this is where it comes down to, like, what are you wanting to achieve within your business? What's your purpose bit? Because as with any model, you can go wherever you want to go with it. If you wanted to create a course, but think about what we refer to as these phases of business. If you're in that startup phase, so that 0 to 100k in revenue bit, doing a course for a group of people is not impossible, but it's challenging. And I would say there is definitely delayed gratification on that, because if you haven't got an audience to sell to, then you're going to struggle to sell a group cohort into an online program. You're also going to run into the challenge of, if it is just a shelved product, so to speak, i.e. you've
self-paced.
Yeah, like you've created the course and you've stuck it on a website, go buy it. What are you putting into your marketing and your messaging to drive people there? Are we talking about outcomes of that course? Like, what is somebody going to get from doing that course with you, rather than this is what you're going to get? It's 10 hours of video training and you're going to learn how to loose lead your dog and recall them, and there's loads of different exercises and there's some workbooks in there and there's this and there's that. Why would somebody want to buy that?
How does it benefit you?
So we love the online space, but it's a completely different skill set.
Yeah. And actually, if you flip it round to go, if you've got individual people you're working with and you put them together as a group and offer some group elements to that, however that is in real life or whether that's on Zoom, you can do it that way so that they're still getting their individual attention, which works better for a phase one business. And you can get them reaching their individual goals, but you can start bringing people together as a community in some aspects. So it's a really nice way to maybe start to grow a group program, or maybe just bring a bit of a community element in, which is a really nice way of building loyalty and a community and a place where people just want to hang out for longer. So there's that kind of way of flipping it, where traditionally in the dog training space, we put people together in a group and then we go, oh, they need a bit more help now. Let's give them one-to-one after the group. When actually, when you do it the other way around, or it is part of the program, it's an integral part of the program, they're getting the best of both worlds for it. But relying solely on that group element in that stage of business is a really tricky thing to do, which is why a lot of us really struggle to fill spots or to actually get brilliant outcomes for people.
Yeah. So when I'm just going to try and take it back to when we were just saying how you need that audience size to be able to really sell in an online, because if you think about it, the online space is so noisy, isn't it? Yeah. Like we say, the training market's saturated when you're in an in-person situation. If you've got a few dog trainers in your area, you imagine taking that online, you're no longer competing with other dog trainers for attention. You're competing with the entire advertising system.
Yeah.
You've got reels to contend with, which grab people's attention, various adverts for various different products in various different industries. It's not even just about dog training anymore when you enter that online space. So much noise. And if you are not clear enough that you have this thing and this thing is going to get you this outcome, and you are present and marketing the shit out of it and building a community and building your audience that love you and want to follow you on your journey and are so invested in you, it's really difficult for them to buy.
Yeah. And I've told this story before, but I created an online course in a knee-jerk reaction to COVID, like a lot of people did. And I had access to a field and I just went out and filmed, and I did it in a week or something, filmed the whole thing, edited it, stuck it on like a platform and expected everyone to buy it. Buy this thing. I think that was probably where this little phrase came from. But they didn't. Like a few people did. But the big thing that was missing was me within that program. Like I was there fronting it and presenting it and showing them all the things that I'd do in a puppy class, but I wasn't there to help them along the way. And I do feel like if I was present and if I was there to answer questions, if I was there to be accountable for them, that would have probably been a very different story. And then the outcome of the course would have been probably very different. And I could have really sold it based on that outcome. So I tried, but I didn't know.
Did you market it as well, though?
A little bit to the email list, a bit on Facebook.
Did you do a post? Buy this thing?
Yeah, probably. Just one or two, and thought, no one wants it. Because that's what most people would do. That was only 6 years ago. 6 years ago, isn't it? COVID, that was 2020 I did that. And you just think that was hard to sell it then. Imagine now. I can't even. Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Even if you did have that one-to-one element in by doing an email and a post.
Oh, it's still not going to be enough, is it? But exactly that. The whole thing needed more than substance anyway. But the fact that I thought, you can't access dog training at the moment, so here's a thing. People were like, no. Because I didn't talk about basically how many people didn't get access to dog training at that point that they needed it, right? So had I talked about the consequences of not doing this thing and how, I could have used that messaging and marketing in a much better way to actually sell it and reach the people that I wanted to reach. But it was a knee-jerk reaction. It was just, I got a bit of time free and thought, do you know what? I could create this course and it can sit there and people can buy whilst I'm asleep. And of course, it happened a few times and I got a bit of self-reinforcement when I got a few pings. Don't know how many I sold in the end. Under double figures, I think.
Do you remember how much you sold it for?
46 quid.
46 quid?
I think it was 36 actually, and then I increased it by a tenner. Because I thought, that's way too cheap for all of that I've just done. Because it was effectively my puppy class exercises. The 6 weeks, I'd broken it down into each little exercise that I teach them and just put it into so it's week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6 with 5 or 6 videos in each one. So that's how it was structured. So I was literally just took my puppy class and replicated it into that.
I have no words here. I'm actually, sorry, I was thinking whilst you was talking, and I think it's really difficult as well for dog trainers to create an online course of any kind when we're thinking of it as here's a load of videos. Yeah.
And I was selling it with those benefits and features of 42 video. I think it ended up being something like 42 videos. I think there was, did I do maybe little downloadable workbooks or something like that? This is the thing. You could even print your own certificate out at the end, a certificate. But that's how I used to sell my puppy classes. You get, and this is how we were told to do it, by the way, a selling point of your classes is a certificate and a rosette and handouts all the way through. So that was always mentioned whenever I used to talk about it. And you get this, 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 this. And that was supposed to sell it for us better.
Oh, there was once upon a time, yes.
That was the marketing advice from...
Once upon a time, yes. that will have worked, I reckon. But yeah, I wonder, you know, because this is how we as dog professionals like to consume information, isn't it? Like if you think about the Absolute Dogs Training Academy, it's like brilliant. If I'm stuck and I want to perfect this technique, I'll go find that video and I'll go and do this. Or if I've got a problem with this type of behavior, let me go find the problem behavior module and see what game I could then teach. So from a professional point of view, that's how we consume.
Yeah.
You study, like even if you look at what else? Like dog training college, like you bought a course and it was all module videos of how to go through certain things. But we like to consume information. When you are the geek and you love to do, or you love to consume information, you are likely going to go and study it because you like the theory, you like the understanding of it, you like going to then apply the mechanics and get all the nitty-gritty detail right.
Yeah, because you've probably got an overarching understanding, but you just need more knowledge in those certain areas so you know where to go.
Yep.
To
so
pull it
it's
out.
the perfect target audience. Yeah. So the people that have designed these platforms that we enjoy consuming know the target audience. I am still going to argue to a point. Do dog owners want the same? I can't say no categorically because there are absolutely platforms out there that are doing fucking well. In fact, I know a few listeners to this podcast that are smashing the online space with like video vaults like that. However, the reason they're smashing it is their content is fucking like chef's kiss worthy. It's good, but that's all they talk about. And it's quite niche as well. So it's like, we're going to go into this thing. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this.
Lots of repetition probably
So
of the same
much
thing,
repetition.
which is what people really need.
But you can tell the amount of content that goes into that. Like at least it makes sense because if we're focusing on content creation, it makes sense that you'd be a content creator and have an online platform. But when you are an on-the-ground dog trainer, let's say, and you're focusing in that local area, and then all of a sudden you've now got an online membership, but you're not showing up online enough, it doesn't marry up.
Disconnect, isn't it?
And this is where I think we struggle because we're trying to apply a model that works for us as the consumer, assuming it'll work for our consumers, but the consumers are different.
Yeah. Yep, they are. And we know the journey. They don't necessarily know the journey, do they? So they don't. And a lot of the time, what I'll say is there's just a brain dump of videos. There isn't some, in my defence, at least that was like the week one, watch this one, watch that one, watch this. Like I tried to do it in that kind of logical order. Whether people consumed it in that way, I don't know. I did try and do it like a drip feed, actually. I tried to see if I could set it up in that way and it didn't work because there wasn't a cohort of people coming through, because even that would be better to get a group, you know, if you got to that point where you've got groups of people signing up in one go, taking them through it in one go could create that kind of group community element kind of thing. But in a lot of cases, it's literally just, here's all the stuff, you sort it out. Your brain has got to decipher all of that. And they're like, where the fuck do I even start with it?
Yeah. So let's look at some online courses then from not the dog world that have done quite well. I'm going to use Lisa Johnson as the example.
Just thinking that.
So some of you may have heard of Lisa Johnson. She has been on our podcast as a guest before. I was going to say used to be known. I feel like this was a past tense thing. She did used to be known as like the passive
income queen,
online passive queen or something like that.
Passive income queen.
Passive income queen. That was it. I said that in a really jumbled way.
You did.
So yes, the passive income queen. And she sold her course one to many. She did it as a big cohort. She did a big launch and made millions off of it every time she did a launch.
Yeah, it's like a 12-week course that you're taken through each week for 12 weeks.
That was that drip fed? I can't remember now.
Yes. Yes, I think it was drip fed.
Yeah. Okay. So that was a drip fed course with some live aspects.
Yeah, well, actually, I think it was literally live delivered. So I don't think there was much else in there apart from when each of the bits was uploaded, if I remember rightly. I did do this course a few years ago. I was trying to work out how many years, 4 years ago maybe. But I think
recently she then stopped doing the live delivery and just did the course.
She did it as an evergreen. Yeah. So you literally just consume it on your own.
Yeah. And now she's just added live delivery back in.
And she's also added one-to-one.
One-to-one
She's
support.
added a fuck ton of accountability one-to-one. In fact, I think the course is still 12 weeks live delivered, but with like a year of one-to-one or 6 months of one-to-one. So more one-to-one than the actual course delivery, which is unheard of. You don't really get that.
Yeah.
Because she's realised that that's what people actually need to succeed.
Yeah. And this is the marketplace shifting for everybody. That it's that human connection bit, because technology is ramping up so much. We're craving human connection and we're craving knowing what to do because the tech's overwhelming everybody. But she is a really good example, because if you go back and study her, like a case study, imagine she's a dog.
Yeah.
Gone back and gone like, do a little case study. How have you started and where are you now? She's done it. She's built a massive following. She'd even teach this in the course as well. So some of you may have even done the one-to-many course, but she will teach you how to create a community. And even that's put on a timeline of minimum 6 months to build your community.
Yeah.
Because if you're starting from nothing or starting from very little, you're going to really struggle to sell to people that aren't there.
Yeah. And even again, like the 99p to 999 pound example, if they don't trust you and they don't believe in what it is you do, they're not going to buy it at 99p. So you've got a big job there to nurture that audience and get them to the point where they're happy to part with even a quid.
Yeah. And that 6 month timeline is a very loose minimum.
Absolute minimum.
Guideline.
I'd say that's more like a year.
I'd say
minimum.
it's more like a year now. And it's forever.
Yeah.
It's not a case
long-term
of
commitment.
Yeah, it's not a case of like build it once and then it's done, because you've got to keep going at it. You've got to keep selling.
Yeah, so I think the overarching thing with all of this is that it's not a one and done thing. It's not something you can just create once, put the time into that, and then just sit back and lie on a beach and wait for that money to roll in. It's a job in itself, isn't it? It's an all-in, like you said, you could go all in on doing a membership, doing it really well, but it's the full-time job to make that work as well as it possibly can.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of an in-person business, just online. You've got to, whatever you put into it, you're going to get out. But I think we've got to really try and work hard at getting out of this mentality that if you have a £7 downloadable course, a series of videos or whatever it is, that people are going to buy it.
And also you've got to look at the source of it as well, because 9 times out of 10 it comes from people who are spreading themselves really thinly across lots of services, putting them at really low fees, and they're too busy to be able to make any more money in any other way. So they think that that is the thing that they need to do to get that cash rolling in.
Yeah.
Aside from everything
Actually,
else.
that's a good point. It's like, what's the reason behind you wanting to have it? Because that will determine how much effort you put into it as well.
Yeah, because ultimately, if you don't have any time to do anything else, how are you actually going to make that thing work anyway?
Yeah. And ultimately, if your purpose is to, I don't know, like help people for free, for example, because maybe you are in a situation where your business is rocking and rolling and you're earning enough cash and it'd be nice to have something on the side. Well, if your purpose is actually, it's nice to have something on the side and you just want to stick a monetary value on it. Do you know what? If you make £100 a year, crack on if you're happy with that. If you want to do it to give more for free, well, your audience are going on YouTube and they're getting that stuff for free anyway. Going on to Instagram and getting that stuff for free. TikTok, they're getting it for free. So why would they then pay £7, 20 quid, whatever it is? It's going to be low, isn't it?
Yes.
Why would they buy that when all of that is there for free? And I understand that the mentality could include, but it's so that they don't have to go and search everywhere. But if you're not marketing it, and if you're not telling them, and if you're not showing up and showing them how your thing helps them, they're not going to put 2 and 2 together like that. They're not going to think, oh, Vic, you've done me a massive favour because now I don't have to trawl through TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and find out all this stuff by myself because you have so wonderfully put together this video library access for me that I can go and get anything I need from you in there, all for £7 a month. Or even a one-off £7.
Yeah, but the other thing as well, which this episode isn't about, is that it comes back to that personal brand and the story behind you and why you do what you do. Because ultimately, that is the reason people are really going to buy from you. And this is probably why people get so invested with TikTok and YouTube channels, because they're probably telling the story in there for nothing. And so this is where we've got that detachment a lot of the time, or this disconnect to go like, the information's brilliant. You can't dispute that. But is the more substance behind that? Like, this is the bit that's often missing. So it's the story. We know how important storytelling is, and we bang on about personal brand a lot, and for a good reason, because you are literally going to get left behind if you don't start bringing that into your business. So even if you wove a bit of you into it, it's going to be better than just having a bank of videos that's doing not a lot else. And also the journey you're going to take somebody through, because there should be a logical process really to get somebody a starting point. They should come in knowing where they should start, what they're going to go through, and how it's going to finish if there's an end point of it as well. There's so many things to consider to get it right and to get it really successful.
Yeah. But I'll say if you take anything away from this episode today is you've got to start finding your people.
Yeah.
You've got to build a community if you want to enter the online space. I'm trying to think now, I said that out loud, on how high of importance it is if you're in an URL business.
What, a community?
Yeah, it's important.
It depends what aspect
but
of it
I don't
you're
feel
trying
like
to
it's
create.
as necessary as the online one.
Yeah, I think it's a way that keeps clients for longer if you build that community well.
Yeah, so there's a maintenance element from an URL business. But so if you are genuinely wanting to be in the online space, you've got to have that audience. Without that audience, you've got nobody to sell to.
Yeah, you might as well just waste all your time and money with it.
And if you are really only going to post a handful of times, like, we're not ones for saying that you have to be here, there and everywhere, but if you are in the online space, you've got to have a strategy around where are your people, where are they hanging out, what is your plan to attract their attention, nurture them so that you are visible in a very noisy marketplace, because like we've already said, you are contending with reels and ads and people's, you've got your friends and stuff on there and all of their shit and all their pop-ups and what have you, and kid pictures and dog pictures and
people's dinners
and drinks and bars and all that stuff. You're slotting in amongst all of that.
You got to stand out in a way that works for you, in a way that aligns with your brand.
Yep. So go forth and conquer the online space. It's fun.
It is fun.
It's hard, but it's fun.
Talking of the online space, if you want to join our free webinar, click the link in the show notes or go to KenOurBusinessAcademy.com and sign up. It's free, 90 minutes. Might change your life.
Might.
Will change your life.